What's going on, guys? In today's lesson, I'm going to be teaching you my DNCE Cake by the Ocean guitar solo. It goes like this. Alright, lick number one. It goes like this. Now what am I doing here? First of all, we're in the key of E minor, every guitar player's favorite key. And I'm going to be using the notes from the E minor pentatonic scale, and more specifically the fourth shape of our E minor pentatonic scale. And if you guys don't know where that is, let's just go over the shape real quick. It's going to start on the 7th fret of our top E string, and it's going to be 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9, 8, 10, 7, 10. It's going to sound like this. You can hear how it properly fits over that E minor chord. Okay, now I'm going to start off by sliding on the D string into the 9th fret with my 3rd finger. Now usually when I slide into the note, it's from a fret or two behind it. I think in this case, I'm sliding from like the 6th or 5th fret into the 9 just to get like a nice slide sound, right? As soon as I'm starting the whole lick. And then I'm going to hop onto the G string 7th fret with my 1st finger and go back to the D with my 3rd. It's going to sound like this. Okay. From here, I'm going to go to the B string 8th fret using my 2nd finger, and I'm going to give just a slight bend on that note, just enough to get that bluesy vibe out of it, and then I'm going to choke it. I'm going to cut it short by muting it with my right hand. It's going to sound like this. Okay. From here, I'm going to hop back onto the G string, this time the 9th fret with my 3rd finger. I'm going to give it a nice pinch harmonic with some wide vibrato. Now, if you guys don't know how to do pinch harmonics, I highly suggest you brush up on this technique and get proficient with it, because first of all, it sounds so damn cool, and if you use it at the right spot in your solo and your song, it really adds to the whole thing. I remember when my guitar teacher first showed me pinch harmonics, my mind was like completely blown, and I just had to learn it. Now at the time, I didn't have an electric guitar. All I had was this little tiny classical guitar, which I think I still have. I think it's in the garage somewhere. Maybe I'll do a video on that one day, show you guys. Yeah, so he showed me how to do it, and I remember sitting there on a classical guitar, practicing it every day over and over and over again, trying to get the technique right, and like you couldn't really tell if I was getting it or not because it's a classical. You couldn't really hear that sound, right? That pinch harmonic sound. But eventually, when I did get an electric guitar, which was it was a dark blue Squire Bullet. That was my first guitar, dark blue Squire Bullet. When eventually I got that guitar and I plugged it in, I abused like pinch harmonics. I used to use that all the time in every little thing that I did. So, if you guys don't know about pinch harmonics, alright, so how do we do pinch harmonics? It's all on the right hand, the way you hold the pick, and how your thumb interacts with the string. Now basically in one smooth motion, as soon as my pick hits the string, my thumb, this part right here of my thumb, the bony part, needs to graze the string, and then I gotta let go. Now it's not several steps. It's not like hit the string, touch the string with my thumb, and then let go. It all has to happen in one smooth motion, okay? Now the best way to practice this, first of all, the way I'm playing, the way I'm holding my pick, when I'm about to do a pinch harmonic, I bring my thumb in a little bit closer to the edge of the pick, so just a little bit of the pick kind of comes out. Now, best way to practice this is you're gonna pick and just let the thumb rest on the string. Just like that. Okay? Now as soon as you're able to do that properly and get that sound, even though it's like choked off and you can't really hear it, this is when you want to let go and let that tone kind of ring out. Cool. Now, two things. Make sure that you're using the bridge pickup because it's not really going to work on the neck pickup. So make sure you're on the bridge pickup. Make sure you got a lot of high gain on your amp or your pedal, whatever you're using. And you want to make sure you're in the proper position on the string, because in different places on the string, first of all, you're going to get different sounds, and sometimes you're not even going to get a pinch harmonic at all. Okay, so you want to make sure you find that sweet spot. Okay, and rule number 3, every time you do a pinch harmonic, add some heavy wide vibrato. All right, So let's just go over the whole lick one more time from the beginning. All right, lick number 2 goes like this. And what am I doing there? I'm still in my 4th shape of my E minor pentatonic. I'm going to start by hammering on the D string from my 7 to 9 using my 1st and 3rd finger. And then I'm going to land on my 7th fret G string. Now on the way back, I'm going to go through 7, 6, and 5. Sorry, 9, 8, and 7, and I'm going to pull off all those notes. Now I do this all the time when I have 2 notes that are a whole tone away from each other. I'll connect them using the middle note, even if it's not in the scale. In this case, it's just a blues note in our E minor pentatonic. So it's fine to use, but even if I had a note that wasn't attached to the scale at all, I'll still do it. Now, as long as I'm using it as a passing tone, it's completely fine to use. As long as I don't rest on it, then it's okay. Okay. So I have, and this is all with 1 pick. 9, pull off, then my pinky on 10 on the A string. Then I'm gonna do a hammer on and pull off, all with 1 pick, starting on my 7th fret on the D, going from 7, 8 to 7, all with 1 pick. Okay? So I have, go back to the 10, and I just continue down some notes from the pentatonic. From here, I'm gonna slide with my 1st finger down into 5, which brings me into the 3rd shape now of my pentatonic. I'm gonna hit 7, and I'm gonna do a natural harmonic on the G string 5th fret. Okay, I just use my finger right on top of the fret wire, so not in between the frets, right on the fret wire, and just let that ring out. If you have a whammy bar, you can use a whammy bar. I don't, so I just use my handle and just bring that all the way down. So all together. Lick number 3 goes like this. What am I doing there? I'm going to start with the same technique I talked about earlier, where I'm going to connect 2 notes, sorry, that are a whole tone away from each other with the note that's in between. This time I'm on the G string connecting 9, 8, and 7. Okay, now this note right here, the one on the 8th fret, isn't in my scale at all. But as long as I use it as a passing tone, it's completely fine to do. So I go, now this is all pull off, so I pick 1 time, pull off. I'm gonna land on the 9th fret of the D. Okay, then I'm gonna hop onto the 8th fret of the B, so I'm gonna skip the G string here. So up until there. Then I'm going to hop onto the 8th fret of the B string, so I'm going to skip the G from the D. And I'm going to hit the 9 and 7 on the G. So I have, now there's a 16th note rest at the beginning here. So if I count it in, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. Okay, let's do it a little bit slower. The end of the lick is a quick little run using notes from the pentatonic. And I'm going to stick in 1 extra note. It goes like this. Now all these notes are from the pentatonic except for my 7th fret on the B. That's my 9th tension in the key of E minor. So in this case, or you can think of it as a 2. So it's going to be F sharp. If I count from my minor scale, and it all comes from the minor scale here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's that note. I use this all the time, especially when I'm playing pentatonics. I'll always add that note. So what I'm doing here is starting on the B string, I'm going to pull off from 10 to 8, and I'm going to alternate pick everything else. Now I'll do this all the time in different runs, where I'll pull off the first set of notes in a certain lick, and then I'll alternate pick everything else. Especially, let's say I'm just kind of going down a scale. So just instead of picking the first couple notes as well, which sounds very harsh, you can clearly hear that attack. I'll start off with a quick legato run, so that's pull off the first 3 notes. And then I'll pick everything else. And what it does is it gives the illusion that I'm playing legato. It makes everything sound a lot smoother than it would be if I were to alternate pick everything. I'll give you an example. If I were just to do a run down a scale, for example. That sounds a lot smoother than going right from the get-go alternate picking. I'd rather just get that initial attack, pull off the first 3 notes on that first string, and then continue everything off with alternate pick. Okay, and that's what I'm doing here, where I'm going. Doing that, where I'm pulling off that first note, sounds a lot smoother than if I were to just alternate pick everything. You can hear how that sounds very like staccato, very harsh, very in your face. This sounds a lot smoother. Cool. All right, lick number 4, it goes like this. And what am I doing here? I'm just following his vocals. Dun, 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 dun. So that's just 12, 14, 15 with my 1st, 3rd, and 4th finger. Then I'm gonna tap 19 with my 3rd finger. And then I'm gonna bend 22. And do a big slide into that 22. Cool? Cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that lesson. There's many more coming soon, so make sure you subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The username is all the same, @RoyZivMusic. If you guys are interested in purchasing some of my lessons or checking out some more advanced lessons, check out my website, RoyZivMusic.com, and also check me out on Jam Track Central. I'll see you guys in the next video.